You're watching TVC Breakfast. 10 Turkish sailors were taken hostage by gunmen off the coast of Nigeria in what is suspected to be a kidnapping for ransom.
The Turkish-flagged ship was attacked by pirates on its way from Cameroon to the Ivory Coast. The ship was boarded by pirates in the Gulf of Guinea without any freight on board. It was carrying 18 crew members at the time, all Turkish citizens.
Now, 10 of them were seized and the remaining were let go. Turkish Foreign Ministry said the 8 were rescued and taken to Ghana. The Gulf of Guinea is said to be the most dangerous sea in the world for piracy. Joining me now is Chief Tony Dania, a maritime consultant. It's nice to have you join me right now.
Good morning.
Now, how disturbing is this trend where piracy are operating in the Gulf of Guinea, where you know the waters that border Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, and the West African coast?
Yeah, this is most unfortunate. The Gulf of Guinea, Indian Ocean, are most dangerous in the world, and to move commercial quantity of any item from one place to the other, you need to follow maritime route. And if this trend is not arrested now, it will cause untold hardship for the whole world economically. And Nigerian waters is fast becoming one of the most dangerous in the world as regards piracy. We've had over 37 attacks within the past 4 years on Nigerian waters, and it's as if the solution is difficult because this attack are done at the IC and a far nautical miles from the shore. So, and it is difficult for a country's naval team to patrol all around the IC. So countries are coming together now to form a joint task force to arrest the situation.
When it comes to the issue of the nautical miles you mentioned, and it's far off, you know, not very close to a country, whose jurisdiction would it be, or whose responsibility would it be to, you know, to man those areas or keep an eye on such kind of far nautical miles from the shores of any particular country?
That is why the pirates have succeeded to some extent, because that has been the problem. But a solution has been found now. We are aware of an institution in US that train a crew on how to resist and defend themselves against pirates, not using arms, because if you allow crew to carry arms, they might use it against themselves, and then there might also be proliferation of arms. So they are taught on how to defend themselves and resist piracy without using arms. So there's a task force like we have in the US. We have the G7. Okay. The G7 is made up of Canada, Portugal, and a host of other maritime countries that have put, they are cooperating in respect of, you know, when a crew sense that there is danger, they send signals. And these signals, once it is noticed, any patrol team, naval team of any country around, irrespective of the position of the incident, would go for the defense. And that is why in this recent incident, you see the swift counter-attack by the Ghanaian naval patrol team. Nigerian naval team also joined them, and then we saw the sources. But we need to put in place arrangement that will prevent piracy incident across the waters over the world, because if not, recently a client wanted to take some things from Monrovia to Liberia. I was consulted because the owner of the vessel is saying, look, if I have to go to Monrovia, provide security. And that is strange, because if you are using your vessel to carry my item, when that item is inside your own vessel, you cover it. I'm not supposed to be the consignee, is not supposed to start covering that. But you see, because of the situation on the waters, that is why the owners of the vessel is making that position, which means, and this the client that consulted me, I've been looking for a vessel to carry this thing from Monrovia.
How are the issues of piracy affecting businesses, especially Nigeria being the hub of the West African region, if not Africa, as the case may be? But how is this going to affect and impact Nigeria?
It is already affecting us. I just gave you an instance. This happened just last week. You know, now if something else has been introduced to maritime transaction, security.
Okay.
So Normally, a charterer or a consignee that want to make use of a vessel don't bother himself with security. But now, part of the procedure or the terms is you provide security. And that is an extra cost, which means you go and consult with the Navy to give you a patrol boat. You provide logistics for them. You go and consult people who are like vigilante on the waters. I think the solution to this thing is to have a coast guard to join the naval team, because like we have in the U.S.
Now the question on the lips of many is it so difficult to address this situation along that lines? Why is this so challenging, or why is it taking longer to address this issue?
The challenge is jurisdiction and then the boundary of territorial waters among maritime nations. So this has been the issue, but nations are collaborating now to come out with a task force to address this issue physically. But the IMO is also the International Maritime Organization, also making recommendations to, and there's an institution in the US that is also training crew on how to resist and defend without using arms, pirates. And you know these pirates, they are armed, well armed, they're sea robbers. And this issue, the United Nations is doing a lot, but they need to do more because the Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Guinea are necessary routes of trade among nations.
All right, so what would you expect now in clear terms for the IMO to do in this regard, like you said?
Yes. Countries should come up with coast guard that will join their naval force to expand patrol. Then there are digital equipment that should be put on board. Then part of mandatory training for seafarers, that is sailors, should be defense and resistance of piracy. And I also know that there are some insiders among the sailors too that passes information to the pirates. So if this effort are put together, there's what we call, there's a kind of paint that can resist climbing, because when these pirates want to attack the ship, they come in boats, and then they throw the hook and climb unresisted. So the sailor, the vessel should be able to put what we call electric fence, so that by the time you throw anything unauthorized, it will spark and you can't climb. That is a non-harm defensive one. Right. Then there are you can pour some paint around your body that will be slippery to climb. You understand?
Tony, Daniel, we have to leave it at this point. Thank you so much for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much.